Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Excellence IAS. Let us do the editorial analysis for today, that is 1st December 2022. The first article, unseemly conflict. Why this article is in the news? Every day you see fight between judiciary and law minister. The law minister is supposed to help the judiciary, but law minister is in a way appears to be trying to undermine the judiciary and its independence. Is this conflict good? What this conflict is all about, let us try to understand in this article. You know that collegium appoints the judges. In this case, the judges recommended by the collegium, these are supposed to be approved by the government, and government is not supposed to enjoy any discretion in appointment of these judges. But government is playing a trick over here. It is holding few names and clearing few other names. Let us take A, B, C, D names are being recommended by the collegium to the President of India. Then government is holding the name of A and it is approving the names of B, C, D. Obviously, when B, C, D is appointed on December 1st, later when collegium insists, he has been appointed in somewhere in March. So obviously, this person is 4 months behind BCD. To that extent, he is losing seniority. This has happened with Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph. So this kind of thing is hurting the prospects, career prospects of the judges. Is government trying to influence the judiciary this way? This is first question. The second question here is this. Remember carefully, now a judge is given consent, or a lawyer is given consent to be appointed as a high court judge or judge of the Supreme Court. A lawyer has given his consent. But today he is not sure that will he be appointed as a judge or not. So when no such guarantee is there, will he be ready to give his name to collegium? Probably not. So that's why the qualified manpower coming into judicial positions is also coming down. So that's why the merit of the judiciary is compromising. In the interest of the merit of the judiciary and also to ensure independence of judiciary, this kind of conflict between judiciary and executive shall come to an end. That is what is the objective. The next, an Indian recipe to quell micronutrient malnutrition. What is malnutrition? So when nutrition do not consist of all the minerals and nutrients, we call that as malnutrition. In this, nutrients can be classified as macronutrients, also as micronutrients. Let us take iron. These minerals, they come under mostly micronutrients. On the other hand, carbohydrates, proteins, these all come under macronutrients. Today, iodine deficiency is there in the Himalayan belt. Every second woman in India is iron deficient and suffers from anemia. Almost every fifth child suffers from wasting. Every third child is stunted. If you see these statistics, you can understand the intensity of malnutrition. For your examination, to authenticate your point, you can quote Global Hunger Index to support your point, Food and Agricultural Organizations Food Security Report, and added to that NFHS National Family Health Survey and also Global Nutritional Report. These are all reports you need to keep in mind whenever you want to talk about food security or nutritional security in India. Our food security program, let us take National Food Security Act. It is providing for the calorie security but not the nutritional security because they are dominant by carbohydrates. Even proteins are not sufficient in our public distribution system, and micronutrient deficiency is very common in India. So in this context, how can we handle the micronutrient deficiency? That is where food fortification is the solution. What is meant by food fortification? Fortification, it means attachment. Let us take, we consume rice a lot. If you can attach iron with rice, this is called iron fortified rice. So normally consumed product is fortified with a nutrient so that the nutritional deficiency can be covered. So in this case, in the case of Gujarat, the rice is being fortified with iron and given as part of midday meal scheme to the children. Obviously, it has addressed the iron deficiency anemia. If you go to Maharashtra, In the public distribution scheme, rather than giving the normal rice, that is iron fortified rice was given, it has reduced iron deficiency by almost 20% or 30%, I can put it as. So from 58.9% to 29.5%. So that's why across the world, fortification is an important technique for covering, addressing micronutrient deficiency. Next is cease and desist. Yesterday I have discussed voter verification and electoral participation, education and electoral participation. A program is there with Election Commission of India. In this case, a Garuda app is also there for Election Commission. Now, Election Commission has given certain line authorities like municipalities to update the voters' records and also to educate the voters on free and fair elections. In this context, that is Bangalore Municipal Corporation, what it did, it has recruited Chilume Educational, Cultural and Rural Development NGO, a trust. It is not test, it is trust. And this trust has manipulated the intent. It started collecting the metadata. Metadata means my Aadhaar number, voter ID, my religion, caste, everything. Obviously, this metadata is going to be a gold mine to the political parties. This can be used to identify the voter or to that extent fragment the voters, divide the voters, profile the voters, etc. So that's why this is the most important critical information which shall not be given out for the NGOs. The second, it also brings into question the lack of effective data protection law in India. Third thing is, many a times line agencies means implementation agencies, they say that voter ID Aadhaar linkage is compulsory. But remember, Aadhaar itself is not compulsory in India. When these are made compulsory, many people who do not have Aadhaar or biometric data, these people are going to lose their voting rights. Losing of these voting rights, we call this as disenfranchisement. Enfranchisement means giving you a voting right. Disenfranchisement means loss of voting right. Next is towards a robust triumvirate. So what does that mean? So we have 3 election commissioners, including CEC. Can I say it as CEC plus 2 election commissioners? What this article argues is, CEC has a security in the form of, removal, protection for the removal as like the judge of the Supreme Court. Remember. So a CEC can be removed as like the judge of the Supreme Court, but not the election commissioners. Election commissioners can be removed by the President of India in consultation with CEC. Obviously, when election commissioners and CEC are equals, we consider them as equals. When they are equals, what does that mean? Election Commission and CEC are equals. When they are equals, they shall have equal rights. Yes or no? And they also shall have equal protection. Now, consent of CEC is required. In such a case, election commissioner has to depend upon the mercy of CEC, yes or no? So that's why that particular equality principle is not working and CEC can be bossy. If this has to be removed, election commissioners and CEC, they shall have the same procedure for their removal, that is as like the judge of the Supreme Court. If you see, second is appointment. You know that many committees are there in India. Dinesh Goswami Committee, Indrajit Gupta Committee, Second ARC, Justice Venkatachalaya Committee, everything if you observe, including Law Commission, they recommended for the change of the procedure of appointment. Tarakunde Committee, Justice Tarakunde Committee has stated, it shall consist of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition and the Chief Justice of India. With regard to the appointment of the election commissioners, this appointment procedure has to change. That is been reiterated. The next, the Assam Meghalaya border firing. You know that Meghalaya is actually part of Assam before. Later, in the Reorganization Act, the Meghalaya was made into a separate state. From then onwards, there is a border dispute over here. Especially when the firing has happened, Assam claims that it is part of its own land. Meghalaya claims it is part of its land. It is just because of the phonetics of that area, how the area is being pronounced. Now, what the Meghalaya says is the place is Mukro and it is part of West Jaintia Hills. You know, Kasi Jaintia Hills, that in this West Jaintia Hills, this Mukro is the part. On the other hand, what Assam says is, it is not Mukra, it is Mukrau. So that is just phonetics. It is part of its Karbi Anglong district. So what is the problem here is lack of solution or else unable to solve these border disputes between the states is costing lives dearly, and also interstate disputes are increasing. Union Home Ministry has to focus on this, and we can use this Assam Meghalaya border firing as part of interstate disputes in India. Next, are ransom attacks are increasing in India? Definitely yes. In this case, AIMS ransom attack on the AIMS, it can be quoted as an example. So especially security issues, you write points with examples that brings in value addition. So AIMS ransom attack, you can quote it as an example. So in India, what is the agency that looks into this crisis management? That is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, that is called CERT-IN. This agency you need to know. So CERT-IN, and you can use this AIMS attack as an example for ransomware attack. So these are the articles for today. Thank you very much.